A heavy door with a missing handle stands before you, covered in dozens, if not hundreds, of little oddly shaped trinkets.
Hello again, officers.
Give me a moment. It's about Victor, isn't it? It's always about Victor with her.
A weathered brown door. The number reads 20. The lieutenant motions to you to go ahead and knock. This is the door. You already know it's the right door. This is going to be so hard. Get yourself together. It's just police work.
You're right. Let's talk this through. We have our first preliminary identification. In all likelihood, the deceased is the husband of Billy Méjean. We need to confirm this, as well as deliver the death notification to Billy herself. Now, delivering a death notification is never an easy task. There's a reason why it's often called the most stressful part of our job. This is why it's usually done in pairs. You got this. I'll be monitoring reactions, ready to act if necessary. Dead? Just don't say that you know how they feel. You don't.
Good advice. The lieutenant motions towards...
Hello? Who is it? The police. A moment, please give us a moment.
There's fear in her voice.
Come in, the door.
Hello, I'm Billy. Would you like something to drink? Tea? Lemonade? We're out.
The lieutenant has taken off his foggy glasses and is busy cleaning them in his handkerchief for now. You're on your own here. He must feel vulnerable without his glasses. Is this why he's letting you take the lead?
Is this about Victor, my husband? Is he in some kind of trouble again? I can come pick him up in the station if that's what. No, this is something much worse. Is he in a hospital? How bad is it?
How about some small talk before you break the news? Definitely no small talk. This isn't the time or place. You've done this before. Just keep your focus.
What did you say? Oh. Oh. But he was just...
But he was just here, alive.
We understand this comes as a huge shock. I want you to know that me and my partner are here for you if you have any questions. Take your time, ma'am.
What happened to him? Was he drunk? I see. And you just found him there, lying in the cold. How long had he been there?
If you say 2 days maybe, it will be etched in her mind forever. She blinks, eyes welling up with tears, as her hand starts searching for something from the pockets of her dress.
Here.
No. I just need to tell my girls.
Unreal.
God, should I call them? Should I tell them to come home?
No. A day.
Good. That's probably the right thing. Thank you. Just tell me, what do I need to do next? Where is he? Can I see him?
We've taken him to the city morgue. The local coroner will be contacting you shortly to arrange the funeral. Here's his number in case you want to contact him earlier.
A very good call.
Is there anything else that the RCM could do for you?
No, I'll call you if something comes up. I'm still... Thank you. Thank you for telling me. I'll call if...
We should step outside and talk. You did well. I'll call the station when we're finished with the day, and let them know the name of the deceased. They'll manage.
They have to. It's not your place to live their lives.
That's it. We should get back to our case now that our duty here is done. Let's go.
Hey, Tequila! Good to see you. So what's happening? Yeah, Tequila Sunset. How are the, high-concept, reality-based adventures
He says it like it's obviously your name. Like you call someone Billy Brunel or leader of the 4th Street. Good. These people know your true name. Looks like it has preceded you, Mr. Sunset. More on that later.
Not this again. I was hoping that we were done with it.
only echoes remaining of human faces? That's a pretty good apocalypse. I wouldn't mind if it came down to that. Things aren't going super well for Idiot Doom Spiral either. Haven't found those keys yet, haven't won that great piece of ass back, no word from my business buddies.
This guy's your buddy. You feel it immediately. You belong to an organization, a fraternity of drunks. Idiot doom spiral, huh? This is bound to be a good, high-concept conversation. At last. Business buddies, huh? This guy might be just what we're looking for. Ask him if he knows any personal brand strategists who can help you out.
Things have really turned around for you, haven't they? You've got big money problems now. Don't be shy, Tequila. Of course I'll do it. I'm your man. Your personal brand strategist, ma'am. Now, I know I'm not your typical choice. I don't wear a suit, I'm not 100 years old, I'm not about to die tomorrow. But I've got something the others don't. I'm on your level. And as I already understand your needs, I can marry my high-concept ideas with your brand easily. I'll help you make your mark.
Great can-do attitude, a billion real mindset, clinically insane energy. Hire him on the spot.
No, Tequila, no. I'm a professional, you see? I insist that you give me a formal interview. It wouldn't be fair on the other candidates if you didn't. What do you need to know?
He doesn't exactly come across as responsible. Are you sure you can trust him with your entire fortune?
I used to be a moderately high net worth individual myself, if I can say so. I've managed big money before, played the game, hustled the movers of the marketing world. At the Boom Boom Room, I directed a team of talent architects. People so high concept their names were nothing but a single letter. We had manic ideas, fueled by copious amounts of coffee-flavored whey powder. We did stuff no one had ever seen before, or since.
We're going to need examples here. Just going by one of your initials doesn't cut it. You're after measurable performance, not tales of happy memories. Numbers, please. How many years did he work? What profits did he earn?
Remember when Maria Capoleva caused an uproar by walking the red carpet in those slippers? The ones with the stick-on jiggly tits?
Yes, we do remember that.
That was me. I did that. We sold a lot of slippers that year.
All right, here we go. Miss Kapaleva, nay, Olga Grebenikova, was once known as East Revachel's premier vedette and sex symbol. Her role in director Dodo Shakan's sexploitation motion picture, Psychotronic Stripper, launched her into stardom. She's been voted most captivating woman by Lafayette 3 years running.
Drinking is the fuel to my fire. Moistens me up to ensure the high concepts have a smooth landing. Ah, shit. I used at the book.
We're going to, you're after measure.
Numbers? How about 15 fucking years of jamming art into people's heads? That's hundreds of high concept ideas developed and executed for those fancy corp boys in their suits. The result? Millions of real generated for clients. I've made my name in this world. Okay. Let me get a sip first. You see, net worth means nothing to the people of Martinez. Nada. Null. For them to see your wealth, to really respect that, you need to convert it into something real, something tangible. The bigger the better.
The Horseback Monument! That's the center of the district. They'd have to pay attention to that. We could get your name up there in lights. Damn thing's due for a reconceptualization anyway.
You're aware that monument is supposed to look like it's exploding. It doesn't need renovating.
I didn't say renovating. I said reconceptualization. It's medium concept shit is what it is.
The level of conceptualization could always be higher. Yes.
Nothing up front. That's because I always put the client first. My cut'll come out of the back end, after we've made you a sensation.
We really haven't got time for this. In case you've forgotten, we are supposed to be investigating a murder.
And forget about contractors and the like. This job I'm handling personally. Concept and execution. Any unexpected expenses we'll take care of later. Can't let price compromise the work. Easy. That's it. I'm back. Sorry about that, my friend. This isn't about me. This is about you. Of course. A chance for you to give back to the community, to get your brand out there, to teach them your name. I can already see it. Tequila sunset, spelled out in cathode rays, luminous against the evening sky. There won't be a single kid in this town who doesn't know who you are.
This is a good moment to bring up his drinking. He'll get nothing done if he continues like that.
Whoa there! No need to worry about that. I've got it all under control. Besides, it helps with my creativity. Gets the business juices flowing, you know? Exactly! We're partners, you and I. Partners in drinking, partners in business. Give me half an hour, my friend. In fact, I demand you to sit down here and not move until I'm back. Open a beer. Chat with your old pals.
The lieutenant massages his temples and looks down at the ground. There is little time for this.
Relax. I see you both running around like maniacs, just back and forth, back and forth. Gotta live a little. Enjoy the sun.
He turns his swollen nose to face the sun, cheeks ruddy from the biting wind.
Exactly. Just give me a minute or two.
Before you know it, the man has put down the bottle, stood up, and left. Minutes pass. The clouds change shape up in the sky. You chat a bit with old Rosemary. Then, try to strike up a conversation with Don't Call Abigail about something other than Abigail. To no avail. It's all about Abigail. The lieutenant sits silent the entire time, preferring to focus on his notebook. Clearly, we have better things to do than sit down and chat with a bunch of drunks. After what feels like ages, you hear the fence creaking as if under a large weight. Look at him. Just look at him. It's Idiot Doom Spiral. He's back, like a beast made of jaundice and fetid polypropylene. He returns locked in stiff combat with a most fearsome foe.
I know. Ran into some problems there. Material shortages and the like. But don't worry. Genius thrives under constraints. That's why you pay for the best.
He seems even more drunk than before. What an athlete. There should be a new word for drunk moves like that. Like alcoholite or gymnast.
Yes, whenever you're ready. And I don't think you ever will be. Just head on over to the Horseback Monument. You'll see. World's gonna know about you, me, and the shiny numbers in our bank account.
The lieutenant closes his notebook and nods at you, ready to go.
But if there's anything else your old friend can do for you, let me know.
We are... Okay, we're drinking. So now, it's you. You're to... We've...
No, you sure don't.
Maybe.
Tequila. Tequila sunset. Something ominous there.
You think you feel bad now. Wait till you've heard the...
No. You need the wisdom.
Hey, you got here on word on...
It is. The lieutenant's brow is furrowed. He's listening as...
It was a late Saturday night. One moment we hear the sound. Naturally, loud noises pique the interest of anybody owning a pair of... Anyway, there was a brief silence. A gap sounded. What we saw was a sight to behold. The time! So now, the time hath come for tequila sunset! After which, we ran towards the ice, whilst you... When we finally got there, you were sitting on the beach crying. You said that your badge and uniform were in the car. It was too...
In this way, you and your motor carriage have a lot in common.
Recognizing a brother in need, we offered our condolences and invited you to party with us, which you naturally agreed to. We asked about the whole tequila sunset thing, and you told us it was your name now and insisted that we all call you that from then on. Yeah, I agree. Hours. It was an all-night drink-a-thon. Then it's how they're beautiful and also whores and so on. How one of them fucked you real bad. After a short while, you crossed the event horizon, looked sullen, got up, and left without saying anything.
Wow, that's quite a story.
Yeah, I bet tequila's a fucking legend around the precinct. You must be proud to work...
If you only knew.
Yeah, you kept talking about how the coal mine owners were fucking us all over. I didn't agree with you, by the way. The spectral hand of the market makes sure everyone gets exactly what they deserve. Yeah, you said it was no biggie and that you'd solve it in no time. And that you didn't need anyone to do it. You're doing it solo now.
A lot of cops go solo and hermit once they reach that level of alcoholism.
It's not meant as a joke. He's sorry for the hermit cop.
You kept calling yourself a goddamn superstar who'd cleared 501 cases.
As you've already determined, the actual number is 216. But what's a little embellishment between friends?
No thanks to the squares at the precinct, as you put it. You told us that they were a bunch of fucking losers whose main interest was cramping your style.
It's more like you were cramping theirs.
No specifics, though. It was more about you that night. You were the star of the show. Beside your gun and your badge, you said something about your hope or heart or something. To be honest, the details are a little hazy. In retrospect, I guess you lost your motor carriage too? That's a big one. You were pretty vague about it, but you kept saying you got fucked real hard, and that we've all been fucked too.
Please, don't open that door.
No one's fucked me. I do the fucking around here.
Abigail! It seemed pretty painful, to be honest with you. If I had to guess, I'd say you're still working through some shit. It's a hard thing for a man to confront his past. That's why I avoid mine at all costs. Whoop-de-doo. So now I'm a fucking storyteller. Right. Why not? Better than a beach bum. It depends, really. Are you willing to help me out?
You might get scammed here.
No, the reality of the situation requires a rather modest contribution. A little motivational package. Booze! Did you already forget our party? The thing I relayed to you earlier. So, have you got anything for good old idiot Doom Spiral? A bottle for a story. Seems fair to me. Not much, but it will do.
Hey, Spiral Boy, you gonna share that?
Don't call Abigail!
Shut up, guys. I'm telling a story here. Something happened to you. Something happened to me, too. My actual name is George, but around here, you already know. I was once a reasonably high net worth individual. A founder/junior partner at a high-concept creative services agency. When my story begins, I had just landed a major contract with an insurance firm. I used the profits from my agency to finance what I called a cultural incubator. Abstract value generation, value per person, high-concept stuff. I developed the paradigm, worked within the paradigm, but the burden of leadership weighed heavily on me. So I went jogging every so often to keep myself sane. "22 full-time employees, an all-star team, a potentially historical set of individuals. Worrying about them often kept me up well into the morning hours. It did. With my trusty Sansarique tracksuit, I felt like I could conquer the world. But now dreams are worn thin, much like my tracksuit. One day I left on my evening run. As you may know, it's impossible to clear your head when you're distracted by the sound of keys jangling in your pockets.
His eyes are your eyes.
So I removed the key ring and put the keys for the front gate and the apartment into different pockets to stop the jangling, you see. At least, that was the plan. I was halfway done with my usual lap when it started to rain. The reality situation became very wet, very quickly. Wet, okay? It was raining really hard. I made my way back home and discovered that I didn't have the key to the front gate. I'd mixed it up with the key to the letterbox, which was useless. Naturally, the situation required me to climb over the gate, which I did. There was no climbing down because I slipped and landed on my ass. Ouch, indeed. Reality was looking rather grim just then. Me lying on my ass in a mud pit in the middle of a heavy shower. But when life knocked me down, I always got up. So I made my way across the yard. Standing in front of my apartment door, fumbling with my pockets, I realized that I'd also forgotten my apartment key. I wish I were, Tequila. I wish I were. Instead of my apartment key, I'd taken the key to the office. I rang my neighbors' buzzers. It was late, and most of them didn't even answer. Those who did assumed I was trying to sell them something and hung up before I could even explain the situation. People are naturally wary of ad men, you see. One moment someone chats you up, 5 minutes later you've bought a box of edible lingerie and a strap-on. I don't begrudge them, especially since I was known to be one of the best.
Heavy is the head that wears the crown.
Just then, I experienced a moment of clarity. I still had the key to my office. I could wait out the storm there. But when I reached my office, I remembered that I'd asked one of my producers to change the locks that day. And since I hired only the best, he'd already done it, and I couldn't get in. Anyway, long story short, life spiraled out of control. I haven't gotten into my apartment for years, and my girlfriend left me because she didn't want to date a homeless man. The company, well, you see where I'm going with this. So, now you've heard my tragic tale. What do you think? Like nothing you've ever heard, huh? Tequila, I've thought about this series of events for a long time. If there was any...
Why didn't you go to the authorities?
Well, at one point they came to me, but, you know, I didn't have any ID on me, so they tossed me in jail for 2 days. I can't say it increased my faith in the RCM. No offense, gentlemen. Yeah, maybe I've exaggerated certain parts over the years. When you tell a story too often, it begins to take on a life of its own. But what matters is that it's true to my subjective experience. Anyway, that was all the story one bottle gets you. Almost empty, this one.
Truly, he has the soul of an artist.
Good fucking question, Tequila. If I knew the answer, you think I'd be hanging out on a beach in this formerly premium but now extremely dirty two-piece lycra tracksuit? I used to own my reality situation. My business buddies and I had our own creative services agency. I had a nice apartment, an even nicer piece of ass. But somehow it all got away from me. Now I can't hang on to anything. Just last week I stole this nice new jacket, but then I lost it too. The only things I haven't lost are these two drunks.
You of all people should empathize with this. Perhaps this lost jacket is something you could help with?
Tequila, it's a verifiable tragedy. It was practically brand new. Sure, it didn't really go with my lead. Say, you're a detective, right? Maybe you can help old Doom Spiral out. Solve the case of the missing jacket. What do you say, Tequila? Nah, this isn't it. Found? That's medium concept stuff. Totally not my style. It's a big world out there, Tequila. Lot of lost jackets in it. Don't know why you'd think this could possibly be mine.
Hey, Doom Spiral. Ain't that the jacket you stole the other week?
Not on your fucking life, Rosemary. What's wrong with you people? Like I'd be caught dead wearing fawn, like some low-concept bicycle courier. Tell you what, Tequila. Why don't you just hang on to that one? I'll get another jacket. Someday.
At least you got a nice jacket for your troubles.
What's in...
Hey, Spiral Boy, you gonna share that?
Don't call up.
Shut up, guy. I was once a reasonably high... So you don't want to just hear the same story again? I do. But as you can see, my fuel tank is running quite low. If you catch my drift. Interesting. Ah, this is what they use to keep the working man. The tale I'm about to tell you is an urban legend particular to Martinez. That said, I first heard it from a former bicycle courier in Koran. There are many variations on the basic story, and the details often conflict. What everyone agrees on is that nobody knows the exact nature or identity of the phenomenon.
Are you telling the story of the headless...
Shut the fuck up, Rosemary.
Summer of 44. 17-year-old Gertrude Het is walking home from a late shift at the harbor. It's almost midnight. She stops for a cigarette near the canal. Our heroine finds herself enjoying the peace and quiet the canal provides. What she doesn't know is that her peace is about to be shattered. From behind her comes the clattering of hooves. Startled, she turns around, and what does she see?
What? No, I told you this is a Martinez legend. It's a man.
The pause is long and dramatic.
With no head on his shoulders, wearing a found tracksuit, searching for the legendary found cap that went missing when he lost his head. Woe is right, my friend. Gertrude Het may have been the first to witness the headless found rider, but she wasn't the last. Oh no.
Tell him about the two feminists by the locks.
Fuck, Rosemary, they were dating. No one said they were feminists. Everyone always misremembering this stuff.
This wouldn't be the De Ponte Delgado case, would it?
What? You know it.
I've read the case file, but please, go on.
Right. Early autumn of 46. Ula DuPont and Eva Delgado are fishing near the waterlock long after the sun has set. The wind picks up. A sky already dark now blackens. Water starts falling from above. The first cold rain of the season. The women are caught in the downpour. They act quickly. Eva gathers the rods whilst Ula turns around to reach for the tackle box.
Don't turn around. Don't turn around.
When she sees something, her shriek is so violent that the residents of the nearby apartment building believe lightning has struck. But there is no lightning. Only a heavy downpour and the silhouette of the headless found rider looming on the horizon. Ula makes a run for the shore, but Eva slips on a wet rock and disappears into the cold, cold canal with nary a sound. Her body is never recovered. Word on the street is that she, gave herself facial deconstruction surgery. Real grisly stuff.
That part, at least more or less, corresponds to the case file.
See? Told you. Anyway, that's the story of the headless found rider. Well, Tequila, that's part of the legend. No one knows for sure. There are a couple of possibilities, though. Some say he was an undercover cop who blew his cover and got beheaded by the vicious gang he had infiltrated. Now he rides, searching for his lost-found cap, plotting revenge.
O headless brother, where art thou?
Others claim he was a professional jockey who veered off course during a steeplechase, ended up in somebody's backyard, and got decapitated by an exceptionally taut clothesline. Personally, I think he was just some guy who hanged himself from a really tall tree, and the fall was so violent that his head came clean off. Coincidentally, at that exact moment, a horse happened to pass under him, and his beheaded corpse mounted it, where it remains to this day. But then, no one really knows.
For some reason, this does strike you as the most plausible theory of them all.
That explains the horse part for sure. Don't know why he'd be wearing a tracksuit, though. Seems like a stretch, if you ask me. Anyway, to each his own. You want to hear any other stories?
Hard to argue with that, I suppose.
That's the reality situation for you. You think you got a handle on it, then blam! It throws some wild shit at you. Yeah? Why don't you go eat shit, Tequila? There's no way you know a better one than that. Giants? That the best you got? Give me a break, Yeah? Why don't you... Acid gnomes? Sounds like a stupid... Yeah? I have to admit, that's pretty high concept. Still not as awesome as a headless rider in a found tracksuit, though. Yeah? Damn right it doesn't. So why don't you just shut up and leave it to the master? No one knows. Some say he stalks Martinez to this day, and can be seen near the canal when the clock strikes midnight. Ooh.
He won't, though, because it's just a stupid legend.
Aye, I saw him one night when I was right shit-faced.
I actually do have one. The strangest stuff. Do you have anything to fortify old Dooms? If you find any, I'd be You too.
Okay, let's step aside for a second. I have something I want to talk about. I've been meaning to have a little chat with you about your sense of style. It's, well, a little eclectic, don't you think? How would you even describe what you're wearing?
Eclectic is for pop music with indigenous percussion. You're a sartorial maverick.
Well, I can't say it doesn't fit you. Still, you might try branching out a little. You know the expression, the clothes make the man. The right outfit in the right situation can make all the difference in the world. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, detective.
A warm smile.
Anyway, we should probably get back to the...
An old monument stands in the middle of the traffic island. It is surrounded by scaffolding that has been haphazardly erected around it. A matrix of metal tubes and wooden planks jut out at odd angles. A miserable tarpaulin covers up the horse and rider, flapping in the cold coastal air. There are no lights that spell out your name. No workers with calloused hands leering from above. Just construction materials displayed as if there's not an ounce of artistry here. It's even worse than expected. This is not what that personal brand strategist of yours promised. No one even knows that you're paying for this reconceptualization. Go and have a word with him. Find out what's going on. The old king looks defiantly to the west. You see several packaged raincoats fill a low shelf beneath a display of...
Here you go.
A small cabinet on the wall is filled with various medicine bottles, nasal sprays.
Okay, here. I hope Saint Baptiste makes you feel better or something. Okay, here. I hope Saint Baptiste makes you feel better or something.
A colourful display.
Again, I'm obliged to inform you that both alcohol and cigarettes damage your health. Here you go, mister. Here you go, mister. Here you go, mister.
Tequila sunset.
No one does it better than me, eh? I was able to get it all together, and so fast, too. Listen, I can feel it in my guts. A bright future awaits you. The one and only Tequila Sunset. You're already building great brand equity. No doubt the profits will come rolling in shortly. You hear that, Rosie? I'm back. Big time. And that's only the start. Wait until the strike's over and the workers can finally deliver the product. I guarantee the papers will pick it up. You'll be the talk of the town, investing into the community, creating value, giving back.
Papers? Maybe she'll read the papers and see your name. Maybe it will bring her back. The strike might take forever. Maybe you should just cut your losses while you can.
What would you like them?
Here's a man who knows how to play the media by starting with the right question.
But we haven't solved the murder yet. We might have if you hadn't got distracted by this.
Very nice. You could be your own PR agent, Tequila. Don't spend a single brain cell worrying about it. Just leave it all to me. The final outcome will be spectacular. Just takes a little time. Anything else? Of course. Drink first, story later. Classy. This last one is the most Martinet story I've ever heard. I've never heard it mentioned outside of here. At first, I thought it was a joke, to be honest. But I've been on the coast 8, 9 months now, and in that time I've seen at least 3 expeditions come through, searching for something. Magic animals? No, man, this is serious stuff. No, Tequila. Most people already know where they live. It's guys like you and me that are the exceptions. Hey, hey! Fuck you, Tequila. All kinds. I've seen archaeologists, gangsters, even a bunch of ad agency types. I'm telling you, Tequila, this thing's got a pull on certain kinds of people. You know, obsessive types. People with predilections. Some of those expeditions come back after a week or so, looking haggard and dejected. Others don't return at all. The first time I saw one of these expeditions, I thought they were fucking with me. There was no way it could be true. It was just too high concept, even for me. I'm not even sure I should be telling you this story, to be perfectly honest. You're in a fragile state, and it might be too much for you to handle. Okay, fine, I'll tell you. But I'm warning you, it's pretty out there. Our story begins at a legendary design studio, right here in Martinez. There was this designer. His exact name is lost to history, but in life, he was a legend. Made it big in Aranya, where he did some real pioneering work on grotesque and sans serif typography. A fucking genius, man. That is, if he even existed. Who knows? It's an urban legend, after all. Anyway, sometime later he started his own personal studio here in Martinez. And that's when he started working on some really wild stuff. I'm talking some glass-smooth, forward-looking design language, the kind of thing that would totally overthrow the old regime, design-wise.
A paradigm-shattering revolutionary?
But then, something turned. You see, it's widely known that nose candy and pioneer graphic design work go hand in hand. You know Tequila, nose candy, the White Railroad, party powder.
The kids on the streets also call it Snow Day.
Or Emelan gold, for the plateau on which most of the world's supply is grown and harvested, typically by slave labor.
Sinus salt, the White Knight.
Can't see, for its popularity among the aristocratic class of the prior century.
Along with a number of more banal street names. Blow, of course, but also flake, powder, pearl. Really, anything that's white will work. He's talking about cocaine, baby.
Shit yeah, Tequila. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You've got to understand, the work this guy was doing was so high concept that regular amounts of cocaine just weren't cutting it. By the end, they were bringing it in by the lorry load. Now, as you might imagine, snorting that much cocaine can't be healthy for a regular human, right?
Wrong. Do it all the time. All day, baby.
Hey, Tequila,
Pay attention. The story goes that one day he was balls deep in work on what he thought would be his pièce de résistance, an advert so minimal it contained neither text nor images, just pure white. Apparently the idea was too high concept even for this genius. He dropped dead right at his desk before he could finish. His last words are recorded to have been, "It's as white as a blizzard of cocaine." I know, Tequila. I know. But the story doesn't end there. Supposedly, when they performed the autopsy, the coroner discovered nearly a quarter-kilo of coke jammed into his nasal cavity.
That's almost certainly anatomically impossible. Wrong again, nerd. Where there's a will, there's a way.
That's right. 250 grams of blow had accumulated in there over the years. We're talking high-grade Saramaritsian pure. Not that cut-rate shit your grandma does. There are those who believe the designer was buried with this quarter key of nose candy still lodged in his sinuses. That's what those expeditions are looking for.
The cocaine skull.
The cocaine skull. No. Wow. Here's the kicker. This designer, this lead designer of a world-famous design studio, was born in Martinez. A local boy, Martin Martinez. That's why he brought his studio here, back to where it all began. And that's why they buried him here, too. Perhaps right under Ab's pipe there. Or probably further down the coast, or in some yard in Martinez proper. A hidden mausoleum, no one knows exactly.
No, my grandma always told me his grave lay somewhere on the islets on the bay.
This is ludicrous and physically impossible. Sinuses can contain that amount of anything.
Now, detective. Always the skeptic.
The archaeologists say they want to put it in a museum, the gangsters say they want to sell it on the black market, and the ad agency guys say they're seeking inspiration.
Bullshit. They just want to snort it. But you could beat them to it, Harry. You could snort the magic skull cocaine instead.
I'm pretty sure they all just want to snort it, though.
And why wouldn't they, eh? Sounds like right strong stuff.
Don't listen to him or his grandma. He's just making things up.
No, my grandma told me. I've heard other people say it too. That it's underwater.
Or maybe it's in the air. Or in an ancient state pyramid offshore.
In a pyramid? Now that would be something.
They're pretty vague about it in general. The gangsters like to claim they're looking for the grave of a friend, with picks and shovels. The archaeologists act all official about it, saying they're conducting serious research. Honestly, I think they're not really scientists, just rich. The junkies, for some reason, are pretty upfront about it. They just say they're looking to snort some blow out of a dead man's nasal cavity.
Honest men on an honest quest.
By now, I'd say I know about as much about it as anyone on the coast. Whoa. Hold on just a minute. Finding it right now is literally impossible.
What?
For one, the way is blocked by that big lorry that says Delta Logistics Company on the side. You definitely have to search the area behind that lorry too, yet it is impassable. And second, outfitting an expedition like that is expensive. It'd have to be a big production to do the cocaine skull justice. You need new gear, people who know what they're doing, all kinds of provisions. It's just not feasible within the economic and temporal frame of our current setup. Matter of fact, unless a bunch of money just falls out of the sky, we might never know what's up with that skull.
I have to agree. We barely have what we need to solve the case we've got now. We can't afford to run around chasing after quasi-mythical pieces of drug paraphernalia. Besides, it would look extremely bad for the RCM to be caught up in something that has the word cocaine writ large on it. The PR is tricky on this.
Wait, maybe there's another way. Maybe up around the coast? Don't give up now.
Yeah, well, that's the reality situation for you. Who knows, though? Maybe someday we'll get our chance. Not that I can think of, currently. That might be the case. There are many
Are you
Shut the what she... Well, with no head... If I had... Gertrude...
Tell him...
Fuck, Rosemary. What?
I read...
Right. The wind picks up. The women are...
Don't tell her.
When she's... But their... Ula make... Her body is...
Naturally, Ula De Ponte became the prime suspect in the disappearance of Eva Delgado. De Ponte maintained that it was the so-called headless fallen rider and that she ran, fearing for her life. During the investigation, it became apparent that there was a love triangle, the third party being some small-time businessman. I don't remember the exact details. The leading theory was that an argument broke out on the jetty and De Ponte pushed Delgado into the canal, then cooked up this stupid cover story. No, she committed suicide before she could be taken into custody. They found her in the bathroom with a rifle, her face slowly peeling off the ceiling. Not a pretty scene.
Man, that's some grisly detail. Oh well. Anyway, that's... No one knows. Some say he stalked...
He won't, though.
Oi!
Yes? Wonderful. What is your takeaway? I can't stop a grown man from learning about the fundamental geographic and anthropogenic features of our world, can I?
Perhaps I should have tried, he thinks. Perhaps I was overprotective, is what's insinuated.
It all seems unreal, detective. In actuality, the Pale is no more unreal than, say, water or death. Or that we are stuck behind our eyes, between our own ears, talking. Excuse me, large topics are not my forte. You seem stable enough. Keep it that way.
The scruffy-haired little boy, this one, doesn't say anything.
Lily's our mum.
The stone kicker laughs suddenly. The other one laughs. Maybe there's some kind of reason why they're laughing. An interesting reason, somehow tied to the case. The boy stops laughing and looks at his toe. You will never get an answer. That's how it is with these little idiots. A heavy door with a missing handle stands before you, covered in dust. A heavy door with a missing handle stands before you, covered in dozens, if not hundreds, of little oddly shaped trinkets and charms. It appears to be locked. Ow, shoot. Whose moronic idea was it to just run through the door? Don't you know that things like that hurt?
Are you alright?
What is going on there? I warn you!
It barely looks like you've done any damage to the door, however. A heavy door.
Hello again, esteemed officer, and welcome to Crime, Romance, and Biographies of Famous People. Curse?
What it doesn't feel like it's...
Goodness, you were already doing good, browsing the shelves. Everything is...
She's attempting to... She smiled. A heavy door with a missing handle stands before you, covered in dozens, if not hundreds, of little oddly shaped trinkets and charms. It appears to be locked. A heavy door with a missing handle stands before you, covered in dozens. A heavy door with a missing handle stands before you, covered in dozens, if not hundreds, of little oddly shaped trinkets and charms. It appears to be locked. You smash into the wood and see a small crack appear on the door frame. It's going to take one more try to break through to the other side. But you've done it.
You're not thinking of trying again, are you?
Bent metal, broken glass. Your path lies strewn with the broken forms of everyday objects. You are the destroyer, the bane of inanimate matter. Kudos.
What is this place? No, it's a gym. Though it looks like no one's been here in ages. I doubt the electricity still works. Good thing we have a flashlight on us. Don't forget to take it out of your bag before we move on.
An eerie feeling rises in your chest.
Yes, because it's closed. No need to look for a supernatural explanation.
A barbell lies on the floor. It's 60 kilograms. Your triceps hum at the sight of these weights. Show the world what kind of beast it's dealing with. Lift them. There are no collars on the barbell. This is a safety hazard. Why does it feel so familiar?
You're right. The weight may fall off. Better not touch it then. It would be a violation of EPIS safety regulations if the gym was still operating, but it isn't. No one's supposed to come here anymore.
No, it's not that. It's the stale smell of rubber, the squeaky sound of sneakers, your bruised knee against the mat, and a whistle. Then the feeling is gone. It's just a memory. The barbell waits patiently on the floor, like a dog.
It's dark. And the flashlight works a lot better if you hold it in your hand. Yes, you might even call it a feature of the universe that you need to hold tools to use them. Right. Now let's get to it.
Some areas are in.
A dusty radio computer sleeps on its wired frame, forgotten and unused. Its keyboard has a rectangular on-off button. A piece of paper still hangs from the printer.
Another radio computer. Just sitting here without anyone inside. It's your call.
The machine lights up like some prehistoric animal stirring from its... It's empty like a beehive without its brood. Some cables have been left. The filament you have would fit perfectly inside the compartment. Like a smooth draw, the filament slides into place. On the keyboard, the play key starts blinking. The speaker comes to life. Static seeps through the machine's planar magnetic driver. An old lady...
Good evening, Fortress Accident en rue de Saint-Ghislaine. This is East Insulindian Repeater Station 1. Please repeat. Is this the production schedule? Good, thank you. Please repeat. Is this the production schedule? Good. Please repeat the password. No.
A hint system is not part of the protocol for repeater stations.
Still no. Good. I've unlocked the production schedule. After ending the call, please press print to access.
Really? She just used the same password? Maybe those radio computer guys aren't that paranoid after all.
Fortress Accident. Is there anything else? Thank you, and goodbye.
Tiles on the cube are still smoldering. With a quiet determination, the printer starts printing, a piece of paper unfolding like a handheld fan. It's a project report written by the lead producer, Andrew Andy Schott, about Whirl Untethered, a radio game developed by Studio Fortress Accident. The first few pages give an overview of the capital and workforce, while the rest of it seems to be a production schedule. In its short time of existence, Fortress Accident SCA managed to burn through truly insane amounts of money. The first tranche of seed financing brought in 150,000 Riyal, but then came the delays. Eventually, the damage reached 400,000 Riyal, with only half of the game finished. Let's just say it was a real adventure for their Igaunian investor. Fortress Accident employed 18 people, the bulk of the team composed of writers and concept artists. There were also radio programmers, sound engineers, a CEO, 2 marketing experts, and a single overburdened producer who developed a habit of popping Pyrrolidon in the basement to escape his obligations. Why did Fortress Accident have so many concept artists? It didn't. No, definitely not. A few more producers could have come in handy though, especially when dealing with writers, some of whom routinely skipped work because of mental health issues and extremely unprofessional sleep schedules. One of them even managed to steal some valuable company property before skipping town for good. The production schedule depicts their glorious descent into bankruptcy, not the concept artists. It wasn't even the writers. With their panic attacks and 3-hour lunches, it was impossible not to fail. The project was too large, and no amount of money could satiate the ever-expanding ambitions of the development team. They tried to make a 4 million real game with 400,000 in their bank account. They thought they could bridge the gap with pure willpower and imagination. They couldn't. No, you couldn't have. Not a chance. Even then, success remained within an ever-narrowing margin of possibility that, despite everything, never entirely disappeared. That is, until they discovered the Valley of the Heads. At the 11th hour, the lead designer, Jimsborn Suliswaf Jalisa, decided that what Wirral Untethered needed was a secret mystical location at the extreme edge of the map. This place was to be the Valley of the Heads, where the heads of all the headless constructs could be found. The player would have been able to choose a head for their headless party member, and each head would have been voiced on air by a professional actor. The world had never seen their kind before, and might never again. So many. The last count, there were approximately 10,000 heads for 10,000 headless men, all of which could be endlessly recombined. Do you really want to know? There seems to be a calculation here, but it may take a while. The lieutenant taps his foot impatiently, his arms folded tight against his chest. What if you broke the radio computer? What if it's never going to stop? And that's it. Well, yeah, that and the catastrophic data loss. On the nature of the data loss, there's ominously little information in the production log. It comes at the very end, where things get fuzzy and dark, where tables and numbers seem to vanish into an eerie nothingness, before the Egonian investors pulled the plug. What is clear is that one day, an unidentified numeric anomaly occurred on the East Insulindian Lintel front, just as the Wirral Untethered project was being compiled that day. When the project was returned, it was completely blank. The team spent weeks on the phone with Lintel, the service provider, but despite their diagnostics, they could never produce a satisfactory explanation or pay for the loss. Mysteriously enough, it seems that the off-site copy happened to be on-site when the catastrophic data loss occurred. It was the lead programmer's responsibility to oversee weekly maintenance of the off-site copy and, well, keep it off-site. An explanatory note from the lead programmer has been attached. S. Luukinen Kilda, the lead programmer of Fortress Accident. The off-site copy was on-site because there was no off-site anymore. Not for me, not after 8 months of crunch. I didn't have a home anymore, so I started keeping it in the basement in the ice bear refrigerator near where I went to sleep. It was perfectly safe there. The temperature conditions were optimal. That's not what her colleagues thought. The production schedule ends with a few random notes that seem to be added sometime later. 4 months later, by an unknown author. I am the only one left, and it's gotten rather damp here. A few other businesses have gone under too. Slipstream switched to making skis, and the hairdressers just left, cursing Martinez. They're right though. Something's seriously wrong with this place. Martinez, all of it. Still haven't got an answer from Lintel about what happened. All I could get were the physical coordinates of the error on the East Insulindian front on that day. Since the computation happened on air, I reckoned it had to coincide with an actually existing location. I have compared the coordinates to a map of Revachol West. Turns out it's only 800 meters from here. The address is Saint-Brun 1147. I am going there to look this thing in the eye. Tiles on the cube are still smoldering, casting the framework in a soft glow. Fluorescent play and print keys shut. The filament slides out of its glowing nest. Your flashlight slides over an old green chalkboard covered in scribbles, sketches, and some of the writing has faded with age. These lithe, pointy-eared creatures appear to be different types of Welkins. You make out translucent Welkins, with organs shining under their skin, and even ether Welkins, hailing from the vast emptiness. Who are all those creatures? Fantasies of a tortured, feverish mind? You should adopt one of those Welkins as your persona. No longer a mere man, but a Welkin. One of the Welkins, towering among the rest, appears to be different, however. It's Vara Hamira, a high Welkin, his face white and scarred like cracked marble. This is clearly a Welkin supremacist. The note says, all non-Welkin races will be purged. The Haldor, the Twarg, the humans, and even headless men, all of them, purged. Imagine a world filled only with Welkin, Green Welkin, Dread Welkin, and the High Welkin to rule them all.
An inordinate amount of time has gone into drawing these little Welkin creatures. Political commentary. That one has a great beard too. This looks like concept art for a project. It's not really real. Some people really like building a world, I think, even if it's just for a game. Just look at those details. So much effort.
And for what? All gone.